All right. So I believe if I've done everything properly, you should be able to hear me. Boy, I am hearing an echo in my own headphones, and this is why I'm doing all the checks that I'm doing right now. Why am I hearing an echo in my own headphones? Everybody let me know if you're hearing an echo or if it's just me. There's no reason I should be hearing an echo right now, but alas, here we are. Oh, let's see. Just doing a few last minute checks. I appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why I'm hearing an echo in my headphones. Hang on one second here. If I mute that, no, I'm still getting an echo. Very confusing. I've never heard an echo. Oh, you know what? I bet I know why. Hang on. I don't know why. Where is this echo? Oh, hang on. That's where it's coming from. Okay. Now that's very confusing to me. I'll have to explain a little bit later why I'm getting an echo. I'm very perplexed by why I'm getting one. But good. I'm glad that you can all... I see some folks saying slight echo. Yeah, I believe that you're getting... I would find it almost impossible to believe that you're not getting an echo. This is why I'm doing this live stream. Thank you all for being here. I see Kurt's here. I see JP's here. I see Hank. I see a whole bunch of other folks. Thanks so much for checking in. Let me just turn that off. At least for right now, I won't be getting an echo. That should have just ended it. Basically, what's going on is last week I was running a virtual program for a client, and I was 55 minutes into my 1 hour program. I was just about to get to my big conclusion, and everybody was on the edge of their seat. I was killing this event. It was really, really good. And right before I did my final story to conclude the whole presentation, my computer screen went to like Matrix mode. It looked like the Matrix, then it split into two different colors of blue, and then it just went to black, and then a little window popped up on my iMac that just said like, fatal error, do you want to restart your computer? And I was staring at it. Now, I was using a 2015 iMac that at the time in 2015 was the best you could get. I mean, it was just completely souped up. It probably cost me $2,500 in 2015. I remember I did not have that kind of money. My career was not where it is now. And it was, I mean, it's a lot of money to anybody, right? But I like practically wiped out my savings to pick up this new iMac in 2015. And then the world changed so quickly. And all of a sudden, within 2 years of buying that machine, I was doing 4K video editing and all kinds of crazy stuff. And what ended up happening is, starting about 2 years ago, only 3 years into that brand new machine, I started to go, this machine is not powerful enough for all the 4K video editing and the stuff that I'm doing on a daily basis. It was getting hung up and pinwheel of death constantly. I just noticed that I still have a banner at the bottom of the screen. That's nice. Good job, Brian. Very professional. And so for 2 years, my wife's heard me say, boy, I need a new computer. I need a new computer. And she keeps going, get a new computer. And I'm like, no, on principle. Not that I can't afford it these days. I've been very lucky. My career took off. But I've been like, I don't want to buy a new machine. I just spent $2,500 a couple years ago on this amazing iMac. But it had an i5 processor, which was amazing 5 years ago. Just isn't that good anymore. It had 4 cores, which isn't that good anymore. And then in March, we all went into this pandemic world, and my entire career became 5, 6, 8 hours a day, live streaming, editing, pushing that machine to the absolute brink, way past what it's supposed to be able to do. And when a couple days ago, last week, I was in the middle of a paid event for a client and it crashed, that was the last straw. It took 15 minutes almost to reboot the machine, get all my programs back up and running, to jump back on. Luckily, because I was killing that program, the client and all the audience, they were happy to wait for me. When I jumped back on, finally, after 15 minutes, they all cheered and applauded. I finished it. It was amazing. They gave me a great testimonial. Yay for me. But I was like, that can't happen again, right? Like that can't happen again. So what I ended up deciding to do is that night I finally purchased brand new. This is a 2020 iMac with an i7 processor and 8 cores and 32 gigs of RAM and the whole bit. It's not even anywhere near as good as you can buy a machine today, but it's certainly more than enough. The problem is this weekend, that meant I had to do this panic. You know what it takes, or maybe you don't, but many of you probably, if you do, editing or anything, you know what it takes to switch over to a new machine. It's incredibly stressful, right? Because I need all my applications, all my plugin licenses activated. I need all the windows back where they should be. I need things to have permissions on the computer so at the click of a button, everything works. And tomorrow I start a run of 5 virtual events this week for a lot of different clients and some really, really important events. I mean, every event for a client is important, so not just the high paid ones, right? Even the free ones that you do are important, obviously. So I had to set up this new machine, and I was really, really concerned about doing it. And I seem to have done it pretty smoothly. They make it really easy these days to transfer to a new iMac. And I basically ran a time machine backup, one final backup on my old machine, took that hard drive, took that portable hard drive, little WD Elements, 2 terabyte, just backed up the whole machine, moved it to the new one, turned on the new one, and the new one said, would you like to basically load up this new iMac from a backup? And I said, yeah. And it said, do you want to do it over Wi-Fi, over Ethernet, or from a backup drive? And I just said a backup drive, told it what to do, and it took about 5 hours, but then the whole machine looks exactly like my old machine, and which is great. I used to, when I bought a new computer or a new phone or something, I wanted it to be brand new and fancy and have new tools and have the excitement. Nowadays, as a professional, getting a little bit older, I really want it to look exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be going, oh, what's all this new stuff? Where's that thing I normally find? No, I need it to look exactly the same. And so, amazingly, the casing of the iMac 2020 versus the 2015 iMac I had, I think is identical. I basically unplugged, 4 USB cables, an Ethernet cable, and the power source, took the thing and set it down, took the new one, put it in its spot, looks exactly the same, plugged in the 4 USB cables, the Ethernet, and the power source, turned it on, and everything is exactly as it was. So basically, I'm using this live stream to make sure all the hardware is working, the audio is working, everything is as it should be. If I shift over to the wide angle cam over here, which I use for, oh good, my curtain's open in the closet. Oh well, you can see into the closet a little bit there. It's a mess. Hopefully you are able to see the second camera, which means the A10 Mini should be working well. I am also testing out something brand new today that I'm not sure I'm going to keep, but I've got it right here. Oh, this is great. The angle. This is really well planned out here. Hopefully you can see this. I'm testing out this ClearClick HD Video Capture Box Ultimate. It's kind of a cheaper version of one of the Atomos Ninjas, and it's about $220. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. It's holiday return windows right now. You have what do you have? 3 months to return stuff during the holidays from Amazon. This records in 1080p at 60 frames per second from an HDMI source, and it has an HDMI through as well. And so right now I've actually got the A10 Mini running out into this, and it's recording. So in theory, this should, if you can see the screen here, this is a mirror of what all my cameras are right now. So if I switch back to my main one right there, if I go back to the wide shot, and then if I come back here, you should be able to see that this is recording everything coming out of the A10 Mini. Now, what I haven't figured out yet is how to make sure I'm getting audio into here, because I run all my audio, of course, through the wrong one. Sorry, through my Tascam Model 12, as you all know. And the reason we were having that echo earlier is because I was trying to run the Model 12 into the ATEM Mini, which I'm now doing. Like the Model 12 is running into the ATEM Mini, and I tested this earlier. Now that the Model 12 is running into the ATEM Mini and the ATEM is running into this, this right here is actually capturing all of my audio. But for some reason, it's also giving me an echo of my voice in the board, and I Mini. And if I turn that back on, now we're getting an echo again. Yeah, I am not sure where that echo is coming from, but I will need to continue testing that. That is just for recording purposes, though. That's got nothing to do with me doing the events and the live streams, so let me turn that off for now. That's just a little test here. Yeah, I see. Yeah, the ATEM Mini's audio is tricky. Yeah, Kent, I for the life of me, I can't understand. So what I'm doing, sorry, I know I keep changing angles here. I'm trying to figure out what the right one is to talk to you guys on. So what I'm trying to do, Kent, yeah, and I see you just said no more echo, and you're right. There was no more echo when I did that, but what happened is it also stopped recording my voice through the ATEM Mini. I was looking at my my ATEM software control, and it also stopped recording my voice. So that was not a good solution. It did solve the problem of the echo, but it also stopped the recording, which is the point. So what's happening is I'm running out of the headphone jack. I'm running in the Model 12 here. Let me see if I can give you a better view if I just kind of move away a little bit. I'm running out of the headphone jack, which is a 1/4-inch stereo out, which is going into an 1/8 inch going into the ATEM Mini. And I'm using the headphone output, basically dial over here, to tell the ATEM how much, what the level is. Basically, I'm sending level over to the ATEM. So I wonder if I backed off the level of the phones, if that would change anything. So I'm going to turn back on now. I'm going to turn on the ATEM Mini. So now the audio is going into the ATEM Mini. Yeah, and I hear an echo still. For the life of me, I don't understand why I'm getting an echo. There's no reason. If I turn this completely off, yeah, okay, so if I adjust the level of the headphone output in the ATEM, I'm sorry, if I adjust the level of the headphone output, which is where I'm sending this from in the Model 12, if I go down to nothing, you stop hearing the echo, but you also stop getting audio through the ATEM Mini. And if I turn this up, now I have audio through the ATEM Mini, which right now, let's see, if I go right about here, then I'm getting my audio pretty much at the level that it should be being captured at, but I'm hearing an echo, which is really frustrating. Okay. Thanks for all hanging with me live as I work through some of these weird issues here. So while I'm here, by the way, go into the comments or into the chat rather, and any questions, comments, things recently on the channel, any things you might want me to chat about, products you're interested in me testing. I might have to scale back on purchasing new products just to review, since I just dropped $3,000 on this computer for work. One of the reasons I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the $200. Oh, one of the reasons that I picked this up, though. One of the reasons I picked this up was for $200, it doesn't just do a recording. It has an SD card slot built into it, which I don't think I haven't seen any of the other HDMI recorders have. All the HDMI recorders that I've found, including the Atomos Ninja, and I may be wrong because I've never owned one, have a USB output or or they take a they take a hard drive or whatever. I don't really know how that tech works. Obviously, I'm an audio guy, not a video guy. Doing my best. So if some of you can tell me, I don't think any of the other ones I've found actually have an SD card. This has an SD card slot, so I can just record my live streams, the native video from all the multicam switching out of the ATEM, right onto an SD card, and I can actually see, on the monitor here, what I'm up to, which is great. Now, the recorder, this thing, this ClearClick, it has an AV in. It has an AV in, but I tried to run the cable out of the Model 12 directly into it, and it didn't take it. So it's an AV in, but I don't think it's a standard TRS. I think it's meant for an old school analog AV signal, which I'm sure I could do a workaround, but I'm kind of tired of doing workarounds. I'm sure you all are as well. I feel like I'm doing so many workarounds now. So let me see, because this came with, try not to destroy this box too much in case I need to return it. This came with, yeah. This is a TRRS cable. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's why I was having trouble running the audio out of the Model 12 directly into this HDMI recorder, because I'm using a TRS 3.5 millimeter instead of a TRRS. This has 3 rings on it. That may be something to try. I'll have to look into that, because if I could just run the audio directly out of the Tascam, bypass the ATEM completely, and record the whole board directly into this HDMI recorder, that would be ideal. I mean, that would really be the way to do it. I see Kent is asking mix pre. I have to very low level out to get a good sound in the. Yeah, I have no issue getting. No, I've never used the Sound Devices mix pre. People love it. I know Curtis raves about it. Curtis Judd, who I'm sure if you follow my channel, you follow his channel, most of you. I'm sure if you follow my channel, you probably also follow Curtis Judd. You probably follow Bandrew. I'm sure you follow Mike Delgadio, Booth Junkie, and Podcastage is Bandrew. And I'm sure you all also follow Alan at Sound Speeds. It's probably all of them, the audio crew there. I'm the outcast of the audio crew. None of them know who I am, but I'm working on it. Kent, Blackmagic's monitor has an SD card. Yeah, how expensive is Blackmagic's monitor? My bet, I was trying to save a little bit by seeing if, because I like to do budget reviews on the channel, and I thought that if this worked well, I would do a review of this, because even though it's $200, it's not cheap, but it's much cheaper than a lot of these types of units from Blackmagic, from Atomos, and things like that. So I don't know, but an SD card would really be the way to go. I'm almost done reviewing Movo stuff. I know I've had a lot of Movo stuff on the channel recently, and obviously you all know I have a collaboration with Movo, an ongoing collaboration with Movo, and they just sent me just like everything in their new product line back in July. And some of the stuff is not stuff I would use on a daily basis, or sometimes even ever, but it doesn't mean it's not stuff you would use that I could review. And so the stuff that I wouldn't use that you might, is the stuff that's taking me the longest to get to. It was easy to review. It was easy to review stuff that I would actually use, right? Like, I'm still using, just for the record, this VSM7 that I did that glowing rave review of as a podcasting mic back in July or August or whatever it was. It has completely replaced the GT50, which the Groove Tubes mic that I've used for 5-6 years, whatever, as my main mic, and that was a $300-400 mic back in the day, and that is a serious professional grade microphone. This VSM7 from Movo, $130 or whatever, it's been on my desk ever since. I've never gone back once. I love the sound of this thing. It does help that I'm running into a nice board with EQ and compression and all kinds of other stuff, of course, but yeah, so that's where we are at. Let's see, who else has anything in here? Kurt, yeah, if your audio bypasses the ATEM, it might be out of sync with the video. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I don't mind adjusting the sync in, in post later. The other option for me is, of course, on the Model 12, I have an SD card. There's an SD card right built into here. So I could just record natively on the Model 12 the entire everything I'm doing here and just take that and sync it with the video later. I was just looking for a way to avoid having to do that, if we're being honest. So I could definitely do that. Craig. Yeah, oh, that's right, Craig. You bought one actually too. Yeah, Craig, you had an issue with the first VSM7 you bought. I know. I'm hoping Movo worked that out for you, and I know you hopefully those issues have been resolved. I passed your concerns along to Movo. They said they were getting back to you. I hope they did. I know I have a great relationship with them, but I don't work for them, so there's only so much I can do. I passed along your info. I know you had an issue, so I hope that works out. Yeah, Kent, the audio delay does work really well, and I have it set for three frames in ATEM software, and it syncs up perfectly. It's just that weird echo. I've never gotten that echo before, and I don't know why that's happening. I'm gonna have to look into that, because I've tested this before and I never had that echo. So it's there's no reason that I should be getting that echo, and I'm sure it has to do with the Model 12. I'm sure it has to do with the board and not the ATEM or this new recorder device. The Model 12, as I've mentioned so many times, is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is very tricky, right? I mean, this thing is a pro-grade tool, and it is not intuitive. It's got a lot of functions, and it's got a very difficult learning curve, of which I'm still learning. So that's where we're at there. What's your opinion on the Go Xlr? Yeah, I would have used the Go Xlr if they made it compatible with Macs. That's my opinion. My opinion is the Go Xlr is awesome. I've never personally tested it. I've seen it demoed so many times. People love it. I'm sure the preamps aren't anywhere near as good, as warm, as nice as the Tascams, of course. Tascam makes pro-grade, studio-grade preamps, right? Even in their prosumer level stuff. But the Go Xlr has great reviews. It's only compatible with Windows, and I haven't used a Windows machine since I was 17, since I was in high school. I've had a Mac ever since I went to college, and I've only ever had Macs since MacBook Pro, then a second MacBook Pro, then an iMac, and then a new iMac. So that's about every 5 years there's a new Mac in my life, which I just realized makes me a little bit older than I'd like to be. Craig, sorry to hear they didn't get back to you timely. I hope you work it out. The mic itself is killer. I'm sorry you're having trouble getting a hold of Movo. I don't know what to say about that. I don't work for them. I just work with them. But yes, it is very good. It is very sensitive. Yes, it's very sensitive. Like all condenser microphones, most home audio users probably don't want a condenser mic because they're so sensitive. But there are great, in fact, I just demoed on the channel recently. There are great dynamic options. The Movo just released the HM. Oh God, I can never remember. I got to talk to Movo about the way they title. Actually, I got to talk to every microphone audio company about the way they name their microphones, because like this HMV5, VXR10, nobody can remember this stuff. The only reason we remember the Shure SM58 is because it's been around for 50 years, right? It's iconic. But you talk about the Neat King B. Well, everybody remembers the name of the Neat King B because it's the Neat King B, right? It looks like a bee and it's called a bee, and you're going to remember that. from a marketing standpoint, VXR10, HMV5, Rode does it too in a different way. Rode was really smart when they named the video mic, 15 years ago, because you're searching for, you go and you tell your local store, I need a mic for my video camera, and they say, well, we have this Rode video mic. Is that what you're looking for? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Good descriptive. And then the Video Micro. Great title for a microphone. Great name, right? Because it's like the video mic, but smaller. It's micro, Video Micro. It was perfect. Great marketing decision. But then Rode started naming things all kinds of weird stuff, especially with like the Rodecaster and the Podcaster and all that stuff, the Rodecaster Pro and the Procaster. And I don't know what any of those things are anymore. They're too confusing. So looks like... Craig, Movo, pop filter had the shock and the shock mode missing parts. Replaced the last part Friday after 20. Well, okay. I'm sorry it took 20 emails. I would be frustrated with that too. And I tell you, I know the guys at Movo. Like I know them. I have conference calls with them, video calls. I know those guys. They're really good guys. This year's been tough on everybody. I know they had a lot. They've had a lot of manufacturing. Glitches and shipping delays, and China is a big problem right now in the middle of COVID. So, I'm glad to hear it's all good today. Have you been watching Alex Lindsay's Office Hours? I'm so ashamed to say I don't know who Alex Lindsay is, Kent. Tell me who Alex Lindsay is. And Alex Lindsay, if you're one of the 13 people watching this live stream, I'm sorry, but I'm excited to get to know you and your work. Yeah, I'm actually, it's funny. I've been thinking about doing a Thursday Thoughts episode on my main channel about the marketing of names, but I think it'd actually make better sense on the audio channel. One of the types of videos I don't do ever on this audio channel are kind of just opinion-based videos, like what we're talking about right now, naming what equipment is named or things like that, kind of like my opinion on stuff in the audio world, stuff about brands, and new technologies and things like that. Bandrew does this really well in the Bandrew Says podcast, and I'm jealous of how well he does it. Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on a replay if you would like to see me once in a while, every couple of weeks, once a month, do a video that's not a gear review, it's not a tutorial, it's just more like a solo podcast about audio-related news and my opinions on what's going on in technology and brands that have been in the news and new announcements, things like that. Let me know if that's actually something you'd be interested in. Here we go. Andrea, I don't know which way to pronounce your name. What equipment do you recommend to start a podcast? That's an excellent question. My recommendation for you to start a podcast is your phone. I know I'm not going to make any Amazon commissions by recommending that. Your phone, you already have it. You start your podcast first, get new equipment later. And the reason I say start your podcast first, get new equipment later, is you need to find out if podcasting is even for you at all before you invest in gear. Too many people think if I buy the right gear, then I will be a podcaster. And it's the opposite. Start podcasting, you will be a podcaster, then decide if you want to upgrade your gear. You become a podcaster by podcasting, not by buying gear. So I would definitely start with your phone. I have an Accelerator course that is very, very cheap, cheapest course I offer, called Launch Your Podcast in 7 Days. It is exactly what it sounds like. You get one video per day for 7 days. Each video is 10 to 20 minutes long. You watch the video, you do one simple action step, and after 7 days, you will have actually launched your podcast. It will be public. Your first episode will be public for the world to hear if you want them to. And that is only $37, and it's just designed to be motivation, a kick in the pants, to get you to where you need to be in 1 week so you can prove to yourself you can be a podcaster. And I teach you how to do that with nothing but the phone you own. Whatever phone you own has a mic good enough to be a podcaster. You don't even need to buy a stand. I teach you how to set it up, stack it on books, and how to angle it the right way and where to put your face. I teach you some real basic stuff about Audacity, but most of that 7-day Accelerator course is about the mindset, how to come up with a topic that you can continue to talk about passionately, how to be good on microphone, how to eliminate ums and ahs and weird pauses, how to organize your episodes, different ways to start a podcast. Do you want to do a interview based or story based? Do you want to do solo? Do you want to do guests? Different things like that. So I will just give I'll give a quick link to that. Let's see. Let me just find the link real quick to the Accelerator. Of course, I should know this by heart. So let me just toss a banner on the screen. Here is the go to brianmiller.podia.com. And you can just go to brianmiller.podia.com. That's the easiest way to go there. And then it's launch dash or podcast dash in 7 days, right? But if you just go to brianmiller.podia.com, you'll see that. It's $37. It'll get you off the ground really, really fast. And I say start your podcast first. And you don't need my Accelerator course. 100%. If you're motivated, you don't need it. The reason this course exists and people like it is because for relatively little money, it just kicks them in the butt. It tells them exactly what to do every single day for 7 days, and it gets them out the door, right? It's just for people who need the motivation, the accountability, the idea. They need a muse of some kind. So so go ahead and do that if you like, or just launch your podcast tomorrow. Just use your phone. Once you've done that, Andrea. Tell me which one. Somehow tell me in the chat how to pronounce your name. Once you've done that, then your first upgrade should almost definitely be to a dynamic USB microphone. The AT2100, the Audio-Technica 2100 USB, whatever that is, where it has a USB and an XLR. That's a great starter podcasting mic. It's dynamic, so you'll reject most of the background noise, room noise, stuff like that. You don't have to worry about your room being treated or people yelling in the background or roommates in the other room. So that would be a good place to start. Plus, it has XLR built in, so if you later want to upgrade, you can just buy an entry-level audio interface and plug in XLR, and you don't have to buy a new microphone. Most people will be well served with an SM58 and an entry-level interface. The audio box, the PreSonus audio box USB 2-channel interface, and Shure SM58. That, for most people, is tremendous quality. I mean, for most people, that will blow your mind how good that sounds. It will get you 95% of the way to the Shure SM7B, that $400 famous broadcasting microphone everybody thinks they need. The Shure SM58 will get you 95% of the way there, and nobody but people like me will ever be able to tell the difference. So that is where I would start, Andrea. Andrea. Aha. I think it's Andrea. Kent, that's right. You were answering a question about Alex Lindsay. Ooh, live streaming guru. Streams things like the Oscars and White House. Been doing conversations about AV stuff. Be a great panelist on his show. Kent, I appreciate that. Why don't, if you think that and you watch his stuff, comment next time you're watching one of his live streams that you think I'd be a good panelist for him, and we'll see if we can set it up. That would be great. Thanks so much for that in advance. And Hank, good communication with Movo customer support. I'm thrilled to hear it. They're good guys. I don't know what happened, Craig. It must have just been anything can happen to anybody. Hopefully it's all been made right by now. See, Yatin, what are your EQ settings right now? Okay, actually, I think I demoed my EQ settings in a couple of different videos, but I can tell you real quick what I'm doing, and I'll just kind of move back over here. I don't think I have any camera that will actually let you see what. Yeah, I don't have any camera that's going to be close up on this board right now, and I don't think I have cables long enough to move stuff around. So what I have, I'll look right now and tell you. I have, first of all, I've got compression on. This is digital compression. That there's a one knob compressor on every single fader on this board. It is digital compression. I thought it was analog compression when I first demoed this board, and when I first did my review, I think I said it was analog. It is digital compression, and it fooled me, man. The digital compression on this board sounds awesome. There's a 1-knob compressor, and I've got that. It's probably a 4-to-1 ratio. That's usually if you have a 1-knob compressor with no options. It's usually 4-to-1. It's a medium compression. So I have compression on. That's the first thing. Makes a big difference. In fact, well, I'm so nervous to change my settings, but here you go. So here is without the compression. You hear right away that's a little bit more open of a sound right now. Yeah, so it's an open kind of an open sound right now. And if I move up and I go way overboard with the compression, now you hear that it's completely squashing my voice, and this sounds like absolute crap. And if I move it back to roughly where I had it, this is the compression that I'm using. So it's keeping everything. It's keeping everything in check. It kind of beefs up the voice and keeps it all in line. So first, the compression is a huge part of the sound. But I know you asked about the EQ. Okay, for my EQ, I have a 3-band EQ here. Again, it's a digital EQ. Fooled me, thought it was analog. It's awesome, it sounds great. Okay, at 80 hertz, I'm doing about 2.5 decibels, so I'm boosting up the low end of my voice at 80 hertz. At 10 kilohertz, I'm adding a little bit of sizzle with about 1.5 decibels right there. So 80 hertz, about 2.5 dB there, just to beef up the low end a little bit. I already have a low voice, so I don't need to do too much down there. I add a little bit of sizzle in the top end. And then I'm cutting out about 2 decibels around 500 hertz. My voice has a really pronounced 500 to 600 hertz nasal quality that I've described in a lot of the tutorials on this channel. And so I always look for a way to cut that out. So yeah, a couple of dB at 80 hertz, 1 decibel or so at 10 kilohertz for just a little bit of sizzle. And then I ducked out probably a good 2.5 decibels at about 500, 550, somewhere around there to deal with the nasal quality. But my EQ settings don't necessarily mean anything to you. And this is really important, Yatin, because my voice isn't your voice. My room isn't your room. EQ is for sculpting the audio. If I were in a different room, I would have to sculpt my own voice differently just because the room determines so much of your voice and how your audio comes through. I'm in a perfectly treated, whisper quiet, no echo, no reverb home studio. So I have kind of a really neutral base to work with, but you would need to manage that. If you're in a room that has a lot of echo, reverb, if it's an extra bassy room, even if you would normally want to add bass to your voice, you might not in a room like that, and vice versa. If you're in a room with a lot of ping because you've got a hard desk and a ceiling and it's pinging, even though if you have a dark voice, you might normally add some sizzle, you might not want to if you have a lot of high frequency pinging going on in your room. So EQ, it's what I teach in my courses, and I teach on the channel for free as well in various places, is how to learn to hear in frequencies so that you can use EQ to do correction, to do sculpting, rather than set it and forget it. If you only know how to set it and forget it, you'll screw yourself if you're in a different situation than you normally are. Okay, let's see. I'm good for another 15-20 minutes. I blocked off an hour to do this, so hopefully that was helpful. Craig says, I bought the Tascam 208i after your last live chats. Yeah, man. The 208i is a killer interface. It is so good. Yeah, it's so good. I love the 208i. By the way, all my for everybody tuning in right now, all the courses I have are at audio101.info, and in just a few minutes I'm going to chat a little bit about the new course, the Podcasting for Professionals course that I mentioned a couple months ago, which is currently in beta. I've got some folks from the channel that are in the beta run at a super low price, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But audio101.info, you can click to the store and you'll see the various courses that I have. And actually, you know what? While I'm thinking about courses, here's a question I get a lot, And I'm about to do a video about this as a Thursday Thoughts episode on my main channel. It's another one of those videos where I wasn't sure where to put it, if it should go on the audio channel or the main channel. There's a question that comes up a lot, which is, why should I pay for an online course when all the information is free on YouTube now, right? And it's a really good question. And there are a bunch of reasons why it might be worth paying for information that you can find for free. And there's a bunch of reasons you might not want to. If you're really self-motivated, a really good self-learner, there's probably very few reasons you should ever be paying for an online course. There's nothing in my online courses that you can't find free on YouTube. In fact, most of the stuff in my online courses you can find free on my channel. I teach the same stuff. There's not some super secrets in my online courses that I refuse to reveal on the channel. And I'm going to go over in that video, just so you know, it's coming up probably on the main channel on, as a Thursday Thoughts episode. I think it's 4 reasons. At least 4 reasons why someone might want to pay for information in an age when information is free. So look out for that. It's going to be a good video. I think it'll be a helpful way to decide in the future whether you should pay for a course, mine or anybody else's, whether you should pay for a course or not. And in many cases, the answer will be not. Don't. I had somebody recently that booked a consulting call with me, because I do consulting for content creators, podcasters, things like that. And I charge a good amount of money. I charge $300 an hour to consult, for businesses. And I'm very happy to be open about financial stuff. It's another pet peeve of mine, this hush-hush nature of money. People say, oh, you're not supposed to talk about money. Yeah, that's why so many people get screwed. And that's why so many people don't know how to charge their worth or charge what they deserve as an artist or a freelancer or a business owner. So many people are undervaluing themselves and undercharging because we're not allowed to talk about money. So you don't know what other people are doing, what the market value is, what's okay for you to go do. So I'm very happy to talk. So I charge $300 an hour for consulting. It's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. Partly it's because I don't have that much time in my schedule for consulting. So I have to charge enough to make sure not enough, if I charged $50 an hour, 1 million people would book it and I'd be crazy busy all day and I wouldn't get anything else done. But part of it is that there's a reason that somebody might want to hire me, and it's for me to help them get to where they need to be as quickly as possible with the least amount of wasted time, the least amount of wasted money, and just they need someone to tell them exactly what to do, when to do it, and in what order. And that is worth to many people what they hire me for. However, I recently had somebody, really lovely guy, who set up a discovery call with me. I do these free 20-minute discovery calls for people if they're considering booking me for some consulting. And after 20, 30 minutes into the conversation, he was considering hiring me to help him start a podcast. And this guy was awesome. He had great ideas. He was motivated. And at some point, he asked a really important, really, really good question. He goes, I told you, start it. Start your podcast tomorrow. You have what it takes. Just go start it. And he said, well, if I can just start it on my own, why should I hire you? And I said, you shouldn't. And I think it blew his mind. I said, you shouldn't. If you're motivated, you know what you need to do, just do it. But if you are somehow still wanting to start a podcast after 2 years thinking about it, and in spite of your ideas, you haven't been able to pull the trigger, then maybe you need an accountability partner. Maybe you need some external motivation. Maybe you need someone to tell you exactly what to do, when to do it, and to get you going. You don't need me to start a podcast. And that's what I told him. I said, you don't need me. Just go start your podcast. And so he didn't hire me. And that's great. That's exactly the right move for him. I think all he needed to hear was somebody like me say, just go do it. You can do it. Other people need you to hold them by the hand and walk through it one step at a time. So I'm going to be doing a video about paying for information in the age of free information. I think it'll be interesting. Let's see, what do I have here? Kurt, do you think it's important to heavy hardware-based EQ compression versus... hardware-based EQ and compression versus software. Excellent. Another topic for a future video I've been thinking about, actually. the main reason I offload my EQ, compression, my effects processing is so I have my computer's doing less work. The less work my computer's doing, the less likely it is to fail, to glitch, to have delays, right? To have a software license stop working or need a new activation or need a subscription or all kinds of things can happen. Plus, there's a latency issue, right? Which is from the time it takes for the audio to go from your mic to your interface to the computer, then run through real-time effects processing. There's going to be a delay. There has to be. And also, you can't monitor the effects that you're hearing when it's in the computer unless you want to hear a slapback echo. Again, latency, right? You'd have to go from your mic to the audio interface to the computer, run through the effects processing, and send that back to your headphones. The round trip would be like 50, 60 milliseconds, maybe 80 milliseconds. You'd hear a little slapback delay in your headphones, which is useless. So because I'm doing all the processing on the board and I'm monitoring at the board, I'm hearing the compression, the EQ, all the tweaks I'm making in real time with no latency immediately in my own headphones. So that's really useful. Those are the two main reasons. The monitoring the effects, hearing what I'm doing, and also eliminating any potential places for the stream or recording to get bogged down in the computer. Yeah, teens, super helpful to see things in real time. Wonderful. My pleasure. Do a video on post-processing audio for the Rode Video Micro. You know, I'm sure I did that years ago. I haven't really done anything about the Video Micro in ages because of, because I've been doing everything with Movo. Yeah, I can do I'll probably do a video, actually, where I will do a tutorial on post-processing for the Rode Video Micro and the Movo VXR10 in the same video to show you how you would approach them both with the same procedure but end up with very different choices because they're very different sounding mics. That actually might be really helpful. So I think I'll do that. Mine sounds really bad overhead. The Rode Video Micro, yours sounds bad overhead. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're not happy, if it sounds bad, no amount of processing is going to make it sound better. So either that microphone, the Video Micro, is not a good choice for your voice or your room, or you've got it set up badly. You should be very happy with the sound of your microphone before processing, right? You should be really happy before you've done any processing. If you're not really happy before you've done processing, then you're working against yourself, right? You can only improve something that, whatever you're starting with, you're starting with. And so you need to be starting with something good. There's this old expression, get it right at the source. Get it right at the source. So there's a good chance that the Video Micro is just the wrong choice for you. It's the wrong choice for most people. There's a reason that I recommend the VXR10 and now the VXR10 Pro over the Rode Video Micro, and it's not just because I have a collaboration with Movo, because I also have a collaboration with Rode, right? I work with Rode also. Their Video Mic NTG is a miracle. I've raved about that. I use it all the time. It's sitting on top of this camera up here. It sits on top of my content creation camera, permanently. The Rode Video Micro is really, really thin. It has a 100 hertz, 120 hertz roll off. There's no low end. And there's a reason they designed it like that. They designed it like that for vloggers who wanted to make sure that none of the background noise got captured in their vlogs. Run and gun vloggers didn't want background noise. And so by just saying there's no low end in this microphone, they accomplished that. But if you're doing studio shoots, if you're going to boom it overhead, it's going to sound thin. And unless you have a super deep Mike Delgadio voice that's going to balance out the thinness of that microphone, you probably should be choosing a different microphone before you waste any time trying to fix a bad sound source. Okay, let's see. We're getting into the end here. Metabotic. I love that. I want to start streaming, but I work on a MacBook Pro. What do you recommend? Can you be more specific? Are you looking for cameras, microphones, streaming software, real-time effects processing? What specifically are you asking about? Let me know while I start to talk a little bit about the new course to wrap things up here. So I am in beta testing right now of a new course I've been working on all year, Podcasting for Professionals. I will say before we even start, it is a very expensive course. The course is going to be $497. It's $500. The course is $500. It's not just for professional podcasters. It's for people who want to podcast like a professional. So if you take podcasting seriously, not just, and there's nothing wrong with doing it for fun, just with your friends, just because you want to, nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to start a podcast as a part of your business, whether it's a full-time or part-time, say maybe you have a part-time, side hustle and you want to start a podcast to help promote that business. Maybe you have a full-time gig, you own a business, you're a freelancer, you're an artist, you want to start a podcast to promote that business. Maybe you work for a company in the marketing department and they've asked you to start a podcast for the company as part of your job as a marketer in the company. If you want to do podcasting like a professionally, then in that case, this course is for you. It's called Podcasting for Professionals. It's bordering on, oh my gosh, how many videos? It's bordering on like 60 videos, something like that. It's massive. I filmed over 15 hours of content that's being broken out into 9 or 10 modules that will take you all the way from the mindset and how to choose topics, all the stuff we talked about in the Accelerator course, and that Accelerator course is included in this Podcasting for Professionals. The first module of this major course is the Accelerator course. But then it goes through all the different types of microphones, how to choose microphones. It goes through all the different things you need to know about how microphones work in response to your voice and the environment and pickup patterns and rejection and off axis and all this stuff. And then it gets really, really interesting. In fact, let me see if I can pull up right now the behind the scenes look. Maybe I'll show you the behind the scenes here as a screen share of what this course looks like. Yeah, here we go. So let's do view as a customer. And yeah, let me do a screen share here. Do a tab. Here we go. All right. So you should be able to see this. So, like I said, we're in beta. I have a handful of you folks who all took me up on the offer a few months ago to purchase this course for $97 instead of $497 when it launches in January is my planned launch. So the first module, again, is the entire Accelerator course, that $37 course. You get that for free. You don't have to wait 7 days for all the videos. They're just here. Choose your topic, choose a title, plan your first episode, find your voice, record your first episode, editing, crash course, and then share, upload. This will just get you off the ground. But then here we have Module 2, microphones. Those of you who have my Audio 101 for Content Creators course will find a lot of overlap here in Modules 2 and 3. The big difference is in this course, all of the stuff is specifically and exclusively about podcasting, whereas the Audio 101 course is a generic course. This is types of mics, polar patterns, choosing microphones, USB XLR, mic distance, pop filters, room versus, mic, natural room treatment, acoustic treatment. This is all specifically about podcasting and only about podcasting. So that's the beauty of being in here. So then Module 4. This is where it gets really interesting. Recording devices, right? So all the different options for recording, how to choose the right recorder for you, how to set up an audio interface, how to set up a portable audio recorder, different options for recording software, how to set up any DAW and recommended recorders. Then we get into Module 5, all the different settings and recording modes. This is where so many people will find huge value in this course. Just real quick 2-minute video on general recording settings. But then we have how to set a mic's input gain, mono and stereo, an example recording session, a solo session. You get to just watch me in real time do a sample solo recording. A massive 25-minute video that takes you through everything you need to know to set up an in-person recording. Then everything you need to know to set up a remote recording double ending process, a big video there, and remote recording best practices, and even a download, a pre-recording checklist for you to print and check off before you start recording every time. And then look at this. I mean, tell me this isn't crazy what's in this course, right? Here we've got monitoring audio, how to monitor audio, destructive and non-destructive editing, dealing with noise, frequency band overviews, subtractive EQ, an example of using subtractive EQ in real time, understanding dynamics and what they are, using compression, how to dial in compressors, getting creative, big 20 minutes on getting creative with additive EQ. This is for flexing your creative muscles here with audio. De-essers, and then a processing order of operations, a PDF that tells you exactly what order to do every step in during the processing. Then a ton on editing. Editing 101, how to deal with breaths and editing for rhythm as a podcaster. Editing 201, how to deal with silence and crossfades. Really interesting stuff here. It's much more detailed than you might expect. Editing remote conversations is very tricky. How to sync them and level balance remote conversations. 201, how to deal with grouping and fades between different people from different places after you've synced and level balanced them. Editing in-person conversations, dealing with crosstalk. This is so complicated. This is the big problem with in-person. Crosstalk. Cleaning everything up and doing level automation so you can nail your in-person conversations, right? All of this stuff is in the course. And finally, adding music, output and upload settings, distribution options, how to market and promote your podcast. And then this last module is the real gold. Why podcasting? How to conduct an interview. Booking guests, how to secure dream guest if you're doing an interview, how to work with a co-host, and then stats, metrics, reviews, how to handle all the other stuff. So if you are looking to seriously level up your game as a podcaster, to do it professionally, this course is going to be for you. I'm going to offer one more round for beta testing. In the course right now, there are only, I'd say 70% of the course already exists. The beta testers are getting this super low $97 price tag because it's not finished yet. And I'm not only asking you to deal with an unfinished course, I'm asking you to give me feedback, advice, opinions as you go through it on anything that might be missing, that you misunderstood, that you want me to add an extra lesson on. And I've been adding new things and redoing lessons based on the feedback from my beta testers to make this as good as possible. If you would like access to the course for $97, I will offer it to no more than five more people. I'll take up to 5 more people, and the way that you can do that is to send an email to audio101cc@gmail.com with the subject line beta. I will be in touch later today with a quick invoice and give you access to what currently exists. You will have access for life for $97. The course will be $497 when it launches in January at its full level, and everybody who is a beta tester also is going to get one free 30-minute consultation, one-on-one consultation with me about your podcast, about your audio, to talk about whatever you'd like, whatever would be helpful to you. So if you're in, send an email to audio101cc@gmail.com with the subject line beta. I will be in touch with you over the next few hours to get your invoice and get you accessing the course. I expected to have all the videos finished by now, but I've got a 2-month-old infant, a 2-month-old son, and he's taken up way more time. I should have been expecting it, but he's taking up way more time than I usually have I'm trying to maintain my normal YouTube channel, my audio YouTube channel, do all of my professional work, my weekly blog, my social medias, and I'm struggling to finish the courses for this course, the lessons for this course, but they will be finished by somewhere in January, and then the course will officially launch, hopefully for the super low, 80% off price tag or whatever it is. You can bear with me as I finish the lessons. Anyway, by all means, go and do that. So, last but not least, I'll take 1 or 2 final questions here. I see a bunch of Facebook users saying hello. The problem is Facebook users need to give permission to StreamYard to display their name. So I don't know who this is, Facebook user. You might both be the same person. You might be different people. I don't know. It might be Adam. I bet it's Adam. But you need to somehow give StreamYard permission to see your face. Okay, last but not least, lacking on video quality. Oh, for video live streaming, the Logitech 920. Yeah, the Logitech 920 webcam. If you can pick one up, pre-COVID they were cheap. Now they're expensive and hard to find. But if you can find one at a reasonable cost, it's not price gouging. The Logitech 920. That's the only webcam you need for live streaming. It's excellent. It's 1080p, crystal clear, really nice. Don't think twice about that. You can also use your phone. Your phone's camera is probably the best camera you own right now. It's great. You don't need a $10,000 setup and 4 cameras and interchangeable lens, fancy stuff like I have. All you need for live streaming. I used to use the Logitech 920 on this channel all the time. Everybody thought it looked good. So, I guessed Adam. It was Kelsey. I was close. Hi, Kelsey. Just gave them permission. Yes, this is the new computer. Everything's all set up. Everything's going well. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. Okay, last question I'll take here. Do you recommend showing your face on stream, or is it better you don't show it? Oh, 100% show your face. No question. I don't even know if I need to talk about that. This is what people connect with, right? This is what people connect with, your face. Your face, your expressions, your eye contact. Make sure you look at the lens, right? Not at your screen. If I'm looking at the screen, you don't think I'm connecting with you. It doesn't feel good, right? Look at the lens. Then you feel like I'm really here for you. And if you're live streaming, what I'm doing now, using the chat, engaging with people, using the comments, this is what people like about live streaming, that it's real-time interaction. It's happening now. I'm really here with you answering your specific questions, not just a question similar to yours on a pre-recorded video. So absolutely. Hi, Kelsey. Good to see you. How is your day going? The ability to do that and just say hello to somebody who's actually interacting in real time and for them to see your face, 100%. Craig, I sent you an email and an invoice and I never heard back from you either. So we have our lines crossed back in September. I was wondering where you disappeared to back then. I had sent you even a follow-up, I think. So I think my emails might be getting into your promotions folder, spam folder, something like that. I will be in touch with you. I'll send you an email right as soon as we're done with this, and we will get you sorted. Thank you so much I was expecting you to be in the course, so I'm glad to see you still would like to. Okay. Those of you who are interested, send an email to audio101cc@gmail.com with the subject line beta if you'd like to jump on this last chance beta pricing for the Podcasting for Professionals course, and hopefully that will give me the motivation to finish the lessons, because I started filming it in May, and I've gone through like so many haircut changes and all kinds of different things over the course of some of the lessons that I'm uploading now look so different than the ones I uploaded back in May. This course is becoming really disjointed, but all the information is right. Hopefully nobody cares too much about that. All right, this was a fun hour and 5-minute long live stream. I appreciate you all being here. Thanks so much for, we had 2,000 subscribers recently. Yay! The audio channel is doing great. So many folks are commenting and enjoying the videos. I will be doing one more review of a Movo product. It's a wireless lav that connects with smartphones, tablets, computers from Movo. I will do a review of that. I think I have one more thing from Tascam to review, which is their TH06 headphones, their monitoring and mixing headphones. I'll review those, and then I think I'm done with both of those major collaborations. I've got a series of tutorials I'm planning on doing on using the Model 12. I'll do a few tutorials on this. I know it's a product not many of you have and many people can't afford, so I won't bog down the channel with those tutorials, but for the folks who want them, I'll do that. And then, yeah, I've got lots of different ideas, but I didn't see if anybody mentioned in the chat, but let me know again if you'd like me to do an occasional video on my opinion on audio news, brands, new announcements, products that have been announced but haven't come out yet, where I think the industry is going. Like maybe once a month, kind of an audio industry check-in, opinions kind of a thing. It could be a live stream. It could be a pre-recorded video. Let me know if that's something you'd like from me, or if you just want me to stick to the reviews and the tutorials on this channel. I'm happy to do that and keep flexing my philosophical muscle over on the main Brian Miller Speaks channel with my Thursday Thoughts episodes. Okay, that being said, Craig, thanks for following up. Never feel bad about sending me an email. I get back to people as I can. My pleasure for the stream. Thank you all for being here. Always remember, our world is a shared experience. Every interaction is meaningful, and every person you meet, even virtually, is important. Come back anytime to sound better and level up, and I'll see you soon.